Hi all, welcome to Just News episode 24. This is the weekend edition and I'm Nakul Gupta. This episode was recorded on Sunday, the 17th of November and covers the news of the past Friday and weekend. World Geopolitical News Item 1. In the ongoing impeachment inquiry against US President Donald Trump, an American diplomatic aide, David Holmes, has testified that he overheard President Trump talking to the US ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, about the status of an investigation that the president had allegedly tried to coerce Ukraine into opening against American politician Joe Biden and his son. Item 2. Sri Lanka's former defense minister, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has claimed victory in Sri Lanka's presidential elections, although official results are yet to be released. World markets. Item 1. The Chinese state media, as well as the White House's economic advisor, termed recent discussions between China and the US on a proposed Phase 1 trade deal as constructive. Item 2. Saudi Aramco has indicated that the value of its forthcoming initial public offering could be $25.6 billion, which would make it the largest listing in history. Item 3. The International Energy Agency has reported that the growth in global oil demand in the quarter ended September was 11 lakh barrels per day as compared to a growth of 4.35 lakh barrels per day in the previous quarter. Item 4. Reports have suggested that two of the Federal Reserve's trackers of GDP growth in America are showing nearly nil growth in the current quarter thus far. Item 5. Amazon has alleged that the Pentagon showed bias against the company in awarding a massive cloud services contract worth $10 billion to Microsoft. In the past, President Trump has spoken negatively about Amazon and its founder. Item 6. Alibaba has launched a second listing of its stock in Hong Kong this time. The indicative price values the listing at about $12 billion. Item 7. The World Health Organization plans to begin certifying generic versions of the insulin drug as prices have shot up worldwide. The insulin drug has thus far been controlled by just 3 pharmaceutical companies. This is likely to have an impact on the Indian pharmaceutical sector, which is one of the largest manufacturers of generic drugs in the world. Indian geopolitical news. Item 1. A 5-judge panel of the Supreme Court has referred the matter of allowing women to enter the Ayyappa temple in Sabarimala to a larger 7-judge panel. The panel wishes to further discuss the concepts of right to equality versus the right to freedom of belief. Separately, a 7-judge panel will also decide on the interpretation of Article 110 of the Constitution, which determines whether a bill can be classified as a money bill or not. A money bill is one which can be passed by the Lok Sabha without needing to go through the Rajya Sabha as well. Item 2. The Shiv Sena has been disinvited from the upcoming meeting of the National Democratic Alliance, which is the coalition that rules the union and is headed by the BJP. In Maharashtra, the Shiv Sena has been in discussions with the Congress and Nationalist Congress Party instead of its traditional ally the BJP to form the next state government. Item 3. The incumbent Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, has retired. The next Chief Justice, Sharad Bobde, begins his tenure on Monday. Item 4. Rail services have resumed in Kashmir after more than 3 months of being suspended for security reasons. Item 5. The Jamiyat Ulama-e-Hind, a Deobandi Muslim organization, has said that it will file a review petition with the Supreme Court over the court's decision to grant the disputed Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi land in Ayodhya to Hindu parties. Indian economy. Item 1. In October, India's trade deficit contracted by about 40% year-on-year to $11 billion. While imports shrunk by about 16% in the month, exports shrunk by just about 1%. Item 2. the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that leaders from various industries have told her that their industries are no longer in distress after her major economic announcements in September. Indian regulatory, the only item, in light of the fraud at the Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, the government has announced that it will increase the insurance for bank deposits from the current rupees 1 lakh, as only about 8% of deposits in the country are rupees 1 lakh or below. Cooperative banks may also be brought within the purview of the Banking Regulation Act to improve adherence to regulatory norms. Indian companies. Item 1. In the case of Essar Steel's insolvency, the Supreme Court has ruled against the erstwhile promoters, the Ruiyas, who had submitted a bid to retake control of the company after the conclusion of the formal insolvency process. In doing so, the Supreme Court has clarified the primacy of the insolvent company's committee of creditors in deciding the process of bidding for the insolvent company's assets. It has also restricted the National Company Law Tribunal and Appellate Tribunal to simply ensuring that the process is in accordance with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code without getting involved with nitty-gritties. The judgment will allow ArcelorMittal, who the Committee of Creditors had accepted as the winning bid for Essar's assets, to finalize the acquisition. Item 2. Vodafone Idea has reportedly alerted its lenders that it would need government support to meet its repayment obligations after the recent Supreme Court ruling on the AGR issue led to the company's highest ever quarterly loss. Item 3. The government has announced its plan to sell public sector companies Air India and Bharat Petroleum Corporation by March 2020. Item 4. Vedanta has reported a consolidated net profit of Rs 2,730 crores in the quarter ended September, which was up 44% year-on-year. The increase was mainly due to a one-off deferred tax benefit of about Rs 1,900 crores. The company also reduced its net debt by 29% in the quarter. Indian markets. As of market close on 15th November, the Nifty was at 11,895 points, which was up 23 points from the previous close. The USD INR exchange rate was 71.65 rupees per dollar, which was about 35 paise down from the previous close. The yield on the 10-year Indian GSEC was at 6.519%, which was relatively flat compared to the previous close. @gmail.com. That's justnewspodcast @gmail.com. Hope you'll join me again for tomorrow's episode. Bye bye.